Alrighty, I'm going to turn this light off because normally I'll be working in the dark. I've been trying that lately. But this video is strictly on the packaging designs for the supplement. So initially we started off with this. Doesn't look too bad, but there are a few problems here. And then this is our end result here. Heaps better, looks a lot cleaner. I know it's inverted, but you get the idea, right? And the reason that I wanted to make a video on this is because when it comes to a supplement, your packaging design, especially if you can't get a flavor to it. So if you're doing capsule supplements, the packaging design is incredibly important because the way you sell it on the outside is how people are going to interpret it to therefore get them to buy. And so obviously there's placebo involved with a lot of the supplements out there because there's a lot of garbage out there. But the point I'm trying to make is that the packaging is very important, and especially when I'm trying to sell my supplement and get them to try it, they need to get this sort of vibe based off whatever I want my brand to be, or how I want my target audience to receive it, or who my target audience is. These things are very important with just business in general, but particularly with packaging. So obviously going for more of a premium feel here, and then under here, I've got the core benefits of the product. And because this is a very new product to the market and it's very controversial to what most supplements are, it requires a little bit of educating to my target audience. And so over here on the little ribbon that wraps around the product are all of my USPs. And so basically the benefits act as a USP as well, but the thing that I want to use these for are little snippets of education. And so this is only what's going to be relatable to my target audience, which is why it makes them feel more associated with the product. And on top of that, these little unique selling propositions are able to allow me to both relay a premium feel and still educate people right to the last second of looking at the product. And that's incredibly important. Not so much the specific of being able to educate people with every product you release, but take away the fact that you must think intentionally about every single part of your product design. And especially with packaging, everything has to be intentional. So this has gone through 3 to 4 iterations and going back and forth. And I'll show you here now. I'm not joking. You want to actually get something really good quality and something that you're 100% aligned and proud of. You need to do the work. And so Google Docs here, we've got one document here of basically feedback of every single little bit. We're comparing to competitors and what I want based on what they do. So there's one document I put together. Here's another document putting together of just small stuff. Here's another document here putting together with feedback and what I want. And there's also an initial document that I put together that I sent through in an email of what I want prior to her designing anything. So there's a good total of, I'd say, 20 pages of writing, diagrams, competitor analysis, all mixed on just solely the product packaging. And this stuff takes time. That's the important thing to realize from that. I'm not showing that to flex, or I'm not showing that to make people think, oh, far out, he's doing really well. I don't care about doing that. The important thing that I want to relay when showing all those documents and all those different texts and pictures and diagrams is the fact that if you want to build something good, it's going to take time. And typically it's majority filled with very unsexy work. And so although it might be fun for me to do this stuff, because for me, progress and work is fun, for the majority of people, it's going to be really difficult. And so stuff like this, putting documents together and making endless iterations where you have to then send another document of a product review and feedback of their design, you might not be able to do it. And the hard truth to that is that you just might not be cut out to making big shit. And so putting together these kind of documents, putting in that extra mile of work, making sure that you really put everything into it. The more inputs you put in, the more outputs you're going to get out. And typically, if you can align yourself with a good designer, when we're talking specifically product packaging, you want to make sure that you give it your best, because there's no point paying good money for a good designer if you're going to give them nothing. So they work based off what you give them. So if I give them everything, they're going to give me everything back. And that's clearly shown from going from example 1 here to final product. So That's basically the background work of what I did with my design and then showing the before and after. Another one I want to show is also something I take into consideration when writing my feedback for my product packaging. And a lot of it is getting feedback from my target audience. And so it gives people... Actually, I'll take that back. There's different levels that I want to go through on why this is beneficial and why you should do it. The first one is that you purely just get feedback. So I'm in a whole different bunch of school communities. I'll quickly show you now. So there's a different bunch of school communities here that I'm in that all include my target audience, whether it's biohackers, whether it's entrepreneurs, whether it's high performance athletes, gym goers, health freaks, different levels of types of entrepreneurs, etc. So they're all going to give me data on what they think is collectively good in terms of the different variations of product design I got. And so even taking it a step further, they're going to give me their opinions, where some of it might just be up to preference. For example, oh, maybe I don't like that color, or maybe the logo is a little bit too big. But collectively, you're going to get certain results. And so I do a bulk post in every single community, putting a poll and then giving each and every iteration that I've had. So when I get one batch, I'll get 3 different iterations, and then I'll post all 3 and get my opinions on what's the best one. So as you can see here, collectively, option B, which is the final result product that I showed you before, that was the winning one. And so on top of getting votes, you can also get comments, which then you continuously reply back and forth with those comments. And that ties into the second part of why I think doing this and keeping in touch with a target audience or getting feedback is important. Because when you're sending these comments back and forth and building that relationship with your target audience, they're going to actually enjoy following your journey. And so this only doesn't act as getting pure feedback on which design's the best, but it keeps people involved with the journey, posting content, showing people updates. So doing this stuff right now, it's going to be viewed in 5 years' time, but it's also keeping people up with the journey with the supplement business. And so when we're talking about stuff like posting and replying to different comments on different feedback posts, that's keeping people involved with the journey. And so by doing that, people are going to feel more connected to your brand as a personal founder, and then also your business's brand from just seeing how far it grows. And just as a bit of a side note as well, it actively shows your target audience how much you're actually putting in. And by extension, if you show people that you're doing endless of hours, endless of different documents here, it's going to show people how much work you're doing. And when you show people all the work that you're doing for a product that is serving them, they're going to not only feel more connected to your brand from how much you're putting in for them, but it's going to show that you take this stuff seriously, and it's going to convince them that the product's actually good. If you take a couple days to put a supplement together and you've forked out heaps of money, but you've half-assed it, you've only got one sample, you've slapped together product packaging, you don't care about who your target audience is, and you just start running Facebook ads, there's very little connection there with your audience that you've nurtured from cultivating through documenting. And so when you actually do the posts, put the work in, document the journey, actually keep people up to date with every single nook and cranny that you're working on and every single little bit of mindset shift and learning that you've done to make the product better, people are just going to assume that it's a good product. Because if it takes months as opposed to weeks, or years as opposed to months, there's a different tier of product that you're producing there. And people recognize that without having to try it. And it's just basically stacking undeniable proof as to why your product is good. And if you can visibly show people that you've put in countless of hours of work, it's only going to add to convincing people to try it for the first time. And then if the product's good, you only need to try them once. For example, I'm confident that this supplement, once people try it, won't stop buying it, purely because I know how much work's going into it and I know how good this product is. I know that it's true in terms of its science-backed formulas. I know that I'm not going to stop until it's thick enough in texture. I know I'm not going to stop until it mixes well and it's easy to actually ingest and convenient conveniently mix up on the go or at home. I know that the flavor is going to be on point. I know that the ingredients doses will be correct and the sweetener dosages will be right. I know it'll be completely healthy, no microplastics, no estrogenics, it's not made in a lab. All these things that take so much time, that's the shit that you have to do in the background. They're the private victories and the private progression checkpoints that you have to focus on. Because otherwise, if you just skip all that, you might as well just half-ass and expect to just have some small side hustle at most. Because typically it'll just flop. But if you put in the work, countless of hours, and don't rush the launch, you're going to see the results. And who cares what people think? If people say, oh, you've been working on that for ages, where's the money? You're still broke. Doesn't matter. I don't care anymore. I don't care how long it takes. Because the longer it takes, the more I perfect it, the more I answer questions that I have in my mind. Oh, I might try this, or I should work on this, or maybe I should fix this up before launching. That's where great businesses are built, not average ones. And I know that I obviously haven't built the business yet to its great level, so it sounds a bit naive and ignorant talking about this, but I know it's going to be great, and I don't care what people think watching this video, because this business is about to blow up like crazy. And that's purely because I'm confident in the conviction I have and also the work ethic I'm putting in. So that's a bit of a lengthy video, just purely talking about product design, but it might just add to me convincing you how much work has to go into each and every topic. So now I'm just probably going to work on building a lead list for influencers, start refining on some hooks, and look at different archetypes for my target customers and reiterate that, constantly go back on the old work I've done and make that better. And I will continue to update people on that. So I'm going to leave it there. See ya.